Because with the self-reflection, you're asking the question, am I seeing purpose and impact? Are we? If we don't ever ask the question and really do some deep self-reflection, it's hard to kind of notice that. Hey everybody, welcome to the Leader Lab. This is Leadership Shorts, quick thoughts to help you level up your leadership. My name is Chad Wright. I am the founder of Forward Partners, and I am joined by my partner in podcasting, Emily Grace Deal. Emily, what are we talking about today?
Well, over the last episode, we've been talking about need for healthy leadership.
Yes.
Right? And we teach a very simple definition for leadership, that healthy leaders are spiritually, emotionally, and physically oriented towards health.
Yeah.
Today, let's talk about spiritual health.
Okay, let's talk about that, because kind of what we want to do is break this down piece by piece to say, how can we move towards health in this? And the first piece we want to kind of zero in on is spiritual health. But one thing I want us to notice before we do that, it says, healthy leaders are spiritually, emotionally, and physically oriented towards health. So what we're not saying in all of this is that we are the peak of health in any of these areas, right? The joke I always make is I've been trying to lose the same 40 pounds for the last decade. If I waited till I lost all 40 of those pounds to say I'm now a healthy leader because I'm at the top of my physical health, that may never happen. But what can I do? I can orient myself towards health. I can make healthy choices in the physical realm that point me towards health. I got up this morning, ate a great breakfast, made sure that I was ready to do what we have to do today. I didn't dive into the Lucky Charms or Fruity Pebbles like I would have loved to, because I know that doesn't turn out well for me, right? And so I can make choices that orient me towards health. And so ultimately that's what we're after in all of these categories, is that we are pointed in the right direction, that moment to moment we see how are we doing in terms of leadership health, and what is the next choice that will reorient me back towards health if I find that I'm in a rough spot.
Right, knowing that you just need to make one more healthy choice to be in the right direction.
That's it. You are one choice away from pointing yourself back in the right direction. And so that's part of the simplicity of this and the practicality of this, is it can be a practical moment-to-moment thing to say, how am I doing, and what is my next choice that's going to keep me oriented towards health.
Right. Well, I think that's a lot of the kind of trap that you fall into with setting kind of resolutions for yourself or big goals like that, is that you do fall into that, oh, I missed a couple of days, so I guess I'm just done now.
Yes, I'm done now. Healthy leadership is it's a practice, and it's a rhythm, and because it is such a long journey.
Right.
And things will knock us off track. Our choices will take us off track. Circumstances will knock us off track. And so ultimately we have to reorient towards health. So let's dive into this first piece of this, spiritual health. And we have a simple question to essentially say, are we oriented towards health spiritually? Are we a spiritually healthy leader? And that question is this: are you seeing purpose and impact in your daily life and leadership? So ultimately, spiritual practices are a part of this, but we're not asking, do you go to church?
Right.
And that's where most people default to as well. I go to church or I don't. So what does that mean about leadership? We're talking about the idea of, do you see the big picture? Do you see that your actions and your choices and your work, and they have an impact? It's like when you drop a pebble in water and you kind of see the ripples that go out, right?
Right. I like the idea of thinking about it as like you're connected to something outside of yourself, that the world is bigger than you, and that you have to have that kind of reminder occasionally. That's
a great description. The world is bigger than just us, and we are created to do incredible things. We all have potential, but we have to kind of see that big picture to want to tap into it.
Right.
You know, a few episodes ago, we talked about the idea of being on a growth path and understanding that better is possible. If we can't see the big picture, we don't understand that better is possible. If we can't see that we're impacting lives, we don't understand the true, I guess, goodness that's created every day with our work.
I like that.
And so being spiritually healthy is, do we see the big picture? Are we seeing purpose and impact moment to moment, day to day?
On a large scale,
Yeah, are you seeing really what it does? Because we talk about those ripples, right? So when you make a choice or you do something for somebody else, it's like dropping that pebble in the water, and those ripples go out. Their life is better. Can they then impact somebody else positively?
Right.
Can they then have the same effect, basically? And so it's just all these ripples going out. It's just good things happening over and over and over again. And there's an optimism that comes from that, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, it definitely is. Being able to see that, and then it just gives you a bit of a boost.
Yes, absolutely. And so really ultimately to orient towards spiritual health, it's what what practices orient you spiritually towards health? What are those things? For some of us, it's prayer time. For some of us, it's our worship, and whatever that looks like for us, it's different for everybody. Some people, it's journaling and really reflecting on what are the things that have happened recently, and can we find deeper meaning in those things? It's different for everybody.
Yeah.
And so it's just finding what are those things that kind of point you in that direction.
Yeah, I definitely journal.
Are you a journal person?
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. So when you're journaling, I'm curious, is it like when I journal, it's like 3 lines. It's like, here are 3 lines about what happened yesterday and what I'm hoping for today.
Yeah, I
What does it
literally
look like
have to
for
buy
you?
a journal that has smaller spaces because I used to like get so overwhelmed by the thought of doing it that I was like, I have to fill a full page of my thoughts, and then
Yes.
it's like, it's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it's that same oriented idea, right? You just have to do a small bit to keep that going, to be able to reflect on what's happening or see that. And what's fun about it too is I can always go back and see kind of how things have changed. And
That's such a good point, because it's interesting. Every January I kind of go back through and look at the previous January's journal entries, and it was interesting to watch what we were wrestling through 12 months ago and what we're wrestling through today.
Right.
What we wrestled through 24 months ago versus today. It's you see progress, right? And you see that bigger picture and that bigger story that's being told. And so it's fun to watch that, and it can be some of those faith-based exercises, or it can just be simple self-reflection and spotting impact.
Yes.
A couple episodes ago, we talked about the power of purpose and being able to see that and build that muscle.
Yeah, I did a journal that had like questions and prompts for a while too. And
Yes.
even if that gets you started, it is helpful just to be able to write and think about things. And writing's not for everyone, but
It's not, but ultimately what you're looking for there is that self-reflection piece, right? Because with the self-reflection, you're asking the question, am I seeing purpose and impact? Are we? If we don't ever ask the question and really do some deep self-reflection, it's hard to kind of notice that. And we talked a couple episodes ago about building that muscle. And so really, how do you do that? You have some sort of self-reflection. And so that's a big piece of it. But just to say, am I oriented towards health spiritually? So I'm excited to kind of continue this conversation. Leaders, let's talk next steps. Stop and think about your last 2 weeks. Have you seen purpose and impact in your daily life and leadership? Have you finished, kind of like we talked about a couple episodes ago, have you finished feeling tired but fulfilled? That fulfillment comes from spiritual health, comes from seeing the big picture and the impact you have. So ask that question as part of our routine, part of my routine. Every Saturday as I'm resting, I will sit with Rebecca and have some coffee, and then I fill out a worksheet. And that is one of the questions I answer is, am I seeing that purpose and impact? I would encourage you to do the same thing. All right, we've got 2 more aspects of healthy leadership we're going to dive into over the next 2 episodes. So we know how to orient towards health spiritually. We're going to talk emotional health. We're going to talk physical health. If people want to send us questions, if they want to send us feedback, thoughts, reviews, anything they've got for us, where do they send that to?
to lab@forwardpartners.net.
lab@forwardpartners.net. We are on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn, posting a ton of content. Where do they find us there?
@forwardpartner.
@forwardpartner. Thank you for helping us guide through this conversation.
Thank you.
John, thank you for partnering with us on this production, Porchlight Productions. And thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening, sharing with your friends. It means the world to us. We will see you next time right here in the Leader Lab for Leadership Shorts.